Yeah, indeed. I'll waste no time. With Finance Minister Enoch Godongwana now with us, just fresh off from the City Hall delivering that budget. Minister, for the sake of time, I'm going to get into some major issues. Right? Let's start with Eskom. So there's an acceptance that government will take on between a third and two-thirds of Eskom's debt. What you're saying is that the quantum and the specifics is still being discussed and still being mapped out. What are some of the issues you were looking at? Because I heard you say today that you want something independent to analyze what is happening in Eskom as you make that decision on the quantum of help. What do you mean by that?
There's a two parallel process. The first process is an assessment of how much debt we should take from Eskom, which will make easy for Eskom and its balance sheet to be able to do what it's supposed to do, improve plant performance and build new capacity. That process is one we're engaging in. That requires complicated processes of financial engineering, of what instruments to use, what are the illegal implications. It's more complicated than I thought, right? That's one process. There's a second process, which is parallel to that, of getting an operational assessment of Eskom, which will advise us what are the preconditions we need to put forward and what are the post-conditions we need to put forward, because after that takeover, we want operational efficiencies and gains from Eskom.
Let me bring out the other issue that I think a lot of people were looking at. Destitute people thinking, well, what's going to happen after March next year on the social grants or the social distress grants, right? The social distress grants. Not yet a commitment to actually transfer it into a basic income grant. And you made the point very clear that you need income to have permanency on that. What is Treasury's position looking forward beyond March 2023?
Let me just say, the thing we're doing, government has said extend it until March 2024. Okay? In the meantime, we have got to design a benefit structure for vulnerable people in South Africa. If we can finalize that before 2024, March 2024, well and good. If we have not finalized it before 2024, it may well be that we may, I don't know. All I've done, if you look at the budget book, I've penciled numbers over the MTF so that I should be on safe ground.
Does it affect other existing grants? In what way?
Sure, there are trade-offs. There are trade-offs. For instance, we would have liked to have increased the police by 30,000 over the MTF. But because of the grant, we couldn't do so. So I'm just giving one aspect. Whereas something which is, I'm still figuring out whether will I be able to provide a cost of living increase for the other social grants. All of those things are trade-offs and choices which make it difficult for us to move.
I see while delivering the speech today, Minister, when you got to the area of e-tolls, when you got to the area of e-tolls, you made it quite clear that, look, national government, 70% of SANRAL's debt, right? Gauteng government, 30%. But the question of whether or not it would be scrapped, you were saying that will be up to Gauteng.
Gauteng has got to make difficult choices. Because they are going to take over maintenance, that choice has got to be, how are they going to fund that maintenance of the road? Are they going to keep the toll, charge whatever amount they charge from road maintenance, or are they going to impose another revenue source? That's for Gauteng to decide.
And then lastly, you've made it quite clear that, look, as far as government's position is concerned on the public wage increasing negotiations, 3% is where you stand, but the door is still open for negotiations. Can we really move beyond that or not?
We have indicated to the unions that as far as we're concerned, there's a cash gratuity, which constitutes 4.5%. Together with the 3%, they make 7%, 7.5%. We have indicated that as far as the government is concerned, we've gone beyond what government can afford. You must know that if you look at things stand, the single biggest item of consolidated expenditure is wage bill of our 690 billion rand. So if we continue to do this thing, it's cutting other expenditure, even services of employing other people. For instance, we need to employ more nurses, more doctors, and so on.
Before I let you go, this is my final question, Minister. Our economy is growing by 1.9% this year, according to projections. That, as in your words, is just too low for developmental goals. We've got to get the reforms in track. We've got to get investment confidence up. What's your take on the future of this economy growing?
No, I'm positive. You will see that the endeavors we're making on getting the logistic right, on getting the electricity right. Mind you, electricity alone constitutes 40% of our underperformance. So if we sort all of those things in logistic, electricity, crime is quite a fundamental point. If people can broke up in a construction site and demand 30%, it's bad. Those things need to be attended to in order to grow this economy.